up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are BBL Drizzy, you are getting dragged left, right, up, and back, y'all. Where do we even start off with? Okay, let's start off with the first story. This is gonna have to be a three-parter, okay? Y'all gonna have to stick with me. First of all, you can take the PDF file out of the six. But baby, that 69 guy is always going to have that PDF file with them. Drake is now being called out for being what Kendrick exposed him as last month, which is a liar, which is a weirdo, and someone that make sure you hide your little sister from him. Y'all, what am I talking about? Drake, if you don't know, first of all, there are industry heads talking about Drake's going to have a comeback. He's number one in hip hop. Drake is number one in pop. And I don't want to break it to the experts, but as much as they don't like it, there's a reason why Drake was cosplaying a culturally American black man. Because as much as all these hip hop heads, and when I say hip hop heads, I mean like the people that work for the magazines, the Billboard charts, as much as the UMG flunkies are going out there talking about something, what are you talking about? Drake's still king of hip hop. Baby, Drake cosplayed for a reason. Because as much as they don't want to admit it, people, especially overseas, that listen to hip hop, look to Black America for the direction culturally of who's cool, who's legit, who's real hip hop. Academics can sit his little fluffy self up there all he wants and be like, I actually think Drake's the greatest of all time and Sexy Red is the greatest female artist, right? But all jokes aside, he can have his opinion. But even the reason academics is followed is because he let people at first think he was plugged into that whole Chicago gangland culture as far as what is going on. I am telling you, and mark my words, Drake cannot, he might still be pop. He might still be making a song that make us dance and wave our hands. But at the end of the day, if Black America, who people still look to, who is legitimate hip hop, is like, you ain't legitimate. You ain't nothing but a paid actor. Do you really think that Drake will have the credibility he needs to be taken seriously as a hip hop artist? Survey says it will not happen, but we'll wait to see what happens. Again, I know that whole thing. Hip hop's for everyone. Yeah. And guess what? Sushi's for everybody too. And merengue salsa music is for everybody. But when I'm going for who is the best sushi chef in the world, I'm going to go with what the people in Japan think. When I go for who's the best Latin artist or salsa merengue dancer, I'm going to go to the cultures that actually invented and still have the salsa and merengue. When you're going for who is credible, you go to the source. And unfortunately, as much as everybody don't want to admit it, baby, it's Black America. You know, it's Black America. For those of you guys that don't know the difference between somebody that is not culturally Black and somebody that is a light-skinned Black America, I would actually, idiots. That's all I got to say. I ain't even explaining to these idiots because you that far gone and you don't understand, dummies. It's not skin color, it's culture. And every Black American, every Black American, when that our roots go back deeper than 90% of anybody in America, besides Native Americans, of course. They're the only ones that got deeper roots. Our culture goes back deeper. If you cannot understand that it's not about skin color in America, skin color is a social construct. It honestly is. And don't tell me what you're doing in South Africa. Shout out to South Africa. Shout out to Joburg, right? It doesn't matter what happens in Norway, Finland, Dominicana. It doesn't matter. We're talking about what happens in Black culture. Okay. Anyway, so speaking of what's happening in Black culture, let's get back to Drake, right? So Drake is being exposed to being up to his creepy, no good, weirdo pedophilia. Idilia ways. For instance, first of all, Rochef369 on Twitter pointed this out. Just like Drake followed DJ Mustard's ex-wife, so Drake, in a way of getting back at DJ Mustard, followed his ex-wife. First of all, Drake, you're so effing corny. What is an Instagram follow? Ooh. Like he literally has the mindset of a sixth grader. Oh my God. Like, look at this. He followed his what? She did not like, first of all, that's his ex-wife. She is a fully functioning woman. I hope she has enough sense to stay away from the 69 guy. But what does what she do have to do with anything that DJ Mustard does? They were together. They are now separated. Okay. To look at women like they are chattel, like they are, sorry, like they are all that stuff. It goes into his creepiness because as much as people say, oh, well, it don't matter, it does. Because when you look at grown women, like they are nothing but chessboard pieces to be moved around. Ooh, I know how I'm gonna get back with him. I'm gonna seduce this girl. Yeah. Like literally like chess pieces. What do you think they think about not even fully formed women? This is misogyny, but it's also just stupidity. Because Drake, grow the F up. You are pushing what, 40? You are pushing 40 and playing these games. You're pushing 40 and playing these games. Also, anyway, they said Drake just followed DJ Mustard's ex-wife. He's done the same recently. He followed Mos Def's daughter, who just turned 18 recently. The not my problem girl. This is what Kendrick was talking about when he said psychopath intuition. He's using women like objects for his own personal agenda. He is. And it's very, very sick. And it's actually really, really lame. You know what also just occurred to me right now? That Drake, his biggest problem in this world is that I think Drake's actually jealous of Kendrick Lamar. Because hear me out, you can have a lot of money, and Drake had that $400 million contract. But now that I see how much he can't even rest, they making him work for that money, baby. Kendrick be coming back with a fresh shape up, refresh, works when he wants, leaves when he wants, gets paid, and has critical acclaim. And he has respect, not just from academics, but dudes on the street. I think he is who Drake wants to be. On top of that, Kendrick got a solid family. I know him and Whitney been together since they were in high school. I'm sure they've seen some things. We all know that love is not a fairy tale as long as it doesn't get toxic. But you go through journeys. Nobody's saying that Kendrick is superhuman. Nobody says he's the second coming of Christ. He is a man. Men and women are flawed. That's different from being a weirdo, a creep, and being a sociopath or a psychopath. It's very, very different. Or even being a narcissist or pathetic master manipulator. It's completely different. But think about it. Once you start getting money, you realize that in order for you to be happy and in order for your family to be secure, it's not as much money as you think. Now, granted, we play with a lot of money, but between having 20 million and 100 million and 500 million, like for your quality of life, if you just want to be able to wear what you want, go on vacation where you want, like buy a villa, make love on the patio. If you want to do all that, what's the difference between 20 million and 50 million? What's the difference between 50 million and 100 million? Seriously. So when it gets to that, I get the fact you have money, but there comes a point, my point is, where money doesn't buy happiness, right? Now, don't get me wrong, when you broke, yes, that 20 million sure will put a lot of smiles on the faces. But once you reach a certain point, there is diminishing returns. There are diminishing returns in how much happiness is bought, how much happiness money can bring you. And I think Drake's at that diminishing returns. Kendrick got two beautiful kids. He got a partner, not just some girl he effing with, not some P star he got pregnant, and now he's so embarrassed. He had to rehab her image, and people still don't forget. Not girls that you really think at 40 years old, after being one of the biggest recording artists in the last decade, you really think it's still fun having a different girl, six girls in bed every single night? Maybe sometimes, but everything gets old. Just like you could be the most popular person at the club, Mr. Popular, Mrs. Popular. It gets old. It gets old. And ain't nothing more scary or lonely than when you just feel lonely at night and you can have a parade of people saying you're the best and a parade of people in your bed and it still don't matter because you still can't shake that feeling. I actually do think that Drake is very, 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 very jealous of what Kendrick has. He has money. And again, once you reach a certain point, it is diminishing returns. He has power and he has respect. Drake got what? Even I was listening to people on what is it, Canadian Twitter curse Drake out because when academics was like, oh, he'd be putting people on. They were like, Drake actually crushed the independent music scene by using them or putting them in an OVO sweatshop. He's just a pariah. He takes and takes and takes from everyone. In any case, back to what my whole point in between Drag and Drake was Drake being a weirdo. So there's also these people that somehow think that Drake's making a comeback, to which I said, you cannot be serious. How is Drake making a comeback? The real CL24, and again, he's accomplished a lot, but when people only look at things through the eyes of sales, they don't see the bigger picture. Drake needs to be connected to the culture in order for him to sell, in order for him to dance off beat and act like he's in like a thuggy, ruggy opera, hip opera, if you will, right? He needs to be connected to culture. That's why he did features, because it connected him to the culture. And the deeper he went into the culture, rap goes into a lot of things. He decided to go into gangster culture, to which Kendrick and everybody else said that's a bad, bad choice. But anyway, he said mainstream Drake will never die. I disagree. Mainstream Ja Rule died, did he not? Uh, those fans are still going to buy tickets, not if he's not connected to the culture. He's still going to go number one whenever he drops and do arena tours with ease because those fans don't subscribe to the culture. Maybe, but they look to see who's cool with the culture. Just like those rich white kids don't know nothing about hood sneaker culture, but they look to see what the trap stars in the hood are wearing, and that's who what gets staffed in the sneaker stores, and that's what those rich kids buy. You see what I'm saying? They look to the culture as to what's cool, and then they buy it and adorn it, much like Drake did. I'm telling you, mark my words. But he said the bigger topic at hand is where he stands culturally. From a hip hop and rap standpoint, he has a lot of work to do to redeem himself. I don't think he's ever going to redeem himself because he doesn't write his own shit. I think the last thing he wrote is that whole thing, I just want to be successful, which was a bop when he was how old? 20 something? Not now. Anyway, but it's doable. He needs to go on an undeniable run a la Scorpion and drop a classic like Take Care, right? His redemption arc could be crazy if done right. UMG is trying their best. He has a whole record label helping him stand up. He still hasn't been able to do it. Jazzy Faye, who I respect, but you don't know what you're talking about, Jazzy. And I don't care how much music you do, baby. I'm a consumer. And sometimes consumers are better at letting you know who fell off than people in the industry. What they all fail to realize is Drake has something that none of them have: the women and pop culture. Don't at me. This is not a rap battle. It's the music business. Nothing and nobody stops great music. But Nipsey left y'all with the key word. The marathon continues. Again, I don't think that Drake has the women anymore. I don't know what men in the rap industry think about women. There's not too many women. I mean, there's a small percentage, but maybe they ain't filling out. That's going, every woman has been either harassed, tried to take advantage of, or taken advantage of by an older creep. Every single woman. Now, you might have been smart enough to avoid them. It might have been dumb luck. You might have fallen prey, or you might have had uncles, brothers, fathers that protected you. But you have been exposed to know enough to know those type of creeps. And now that Drake has been exposed as one of those types of creeps, baby, how are you coming back from that? How are you coming back from that? I ask of ye. I ask of ye. How? Anyway, right? And this is so. The first one was Carl Amari. He's the deputy director of R&B and hip hop for Billboard. Again, I'm sure he knows his stuff, and I'm sure he knows his numbers. But baby, you come to America and imitate heritage. You can't imitate this violence. I know. I can't stop calling her Kendrick. Anyway, he's the co-creator and host of Debut Live and The Rookie Live, Billboard Unfiltered host. Listen, he said, listen. So Teddy, aka Big Teddy Bear, I think she says it right, where she says, I disagree, but everyone is entitled to their opinion. I also disagree with the narrative that it's doable for Drake to come back with an album like Scorpio, unless he makes an album solely written by him and not by Rory, who wrote Mob Ties, or The Weeknd that wrote his first, did all the stuff on his first album, or any other um, ghostwriter. Roa said, as far as beef, Drake is finished. Again, we can agree to disagree. He is the Kardashian of rap, like Chris Sharma said. Um, they said other women and whites love him, and though we create the culture, we allow others to run it, so be it. But again, they look to us to see what's popping, and I do mean that. Anyway, you guys, listen. This video is getting long. I'm gonna upload. Listen, I'm gonna do a heavy Drake upload day because he been acting up, and we got to talk about it. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.